When Lebanon gets mentioned in the news, it's often alongside the term Hezbollah. Sometimes Hezbollah is described as a terrorist group that's been designated by major Western powers, sometimes as a democratic political party in Lebanon's parliament, sometimes as an organisation that provides social services, and other times it's simply described as a puppet of Iran. So what actually is Hezbollah? Well, to understand what it is now, it's easiest to go back to how it started. In the 1970s, Lebanon was in the grips of a violent civil war. One of the main groups vying for power was the Palestinian Liberation Organization. Nowadays, you probably know the PLO as the government in the West Bank, but back then it was operating in southern Lebanon, where a massive number of Palestinian refugees were forced to flee after the Nakba. For years, the PLO and the Israeli Defense Force traded blows across that southern border until 1982, when Israel invaded. They occupied a huge swath of Lebanon's south and attempted to kick out the PLO.
The invasion was successful in that, but there are always unintended consequences of events in the Middle East.
It was southern Lebanon's Shia majority population that bore the brunt of Israel's occupation.
The Shia were ripe for being recruited.
Recruited by who? Well, the newly formed Shia government in Iran. Ayatollah Khamenei sent Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps into a remote Lebanese valley along the Syrian border, where they then provided Shia militant groups with money, training, and weapons, and forged them into the Party of God, Hezbollah. Hezbollah went on to fight both Israel and rival factions in the Lebanese civil war, using a mix of traditional military force and guerrilla tactics, including suicide attacks, taking hostages, and bombing civil infrastructure, including the American embassy in Beirut.
The terrorism framing, I think, creates this binary, the smokescreen, the binary of good guys and bad guys. It's basically coming out of the need to bypass the lived realities of Shia Lebanese.
The Shia were among the poorest and the most marginalised groups in Lebanon and had faced the worst of the fallout from Israel's attacks.
When Hezbollah came to Lebanon in the 80s, they had a big budget from Iran. Half of this budget was going to social services, which is basically schools, health systems, everything. This helped them a lot by radicalizing the Shia community through these services.
They sold themselves to the Lebanese Shia public as such. We can do this resistance business much better than others, while also providing where the government has failed for many, many years.
Although the Israeli occupation would continue for another decade, the Lebanese civil war ended in the 1990s, and Hezbollah transitioned into a fully fledged popular political party that now regularly wins a significant number of seats in the Lebanese parliament. But unlike many other militants turned politicians, Hezbollah never gave up its guns.
Hezbollah refused to disarm because they said, we're not part of the civil war, we are part of the resistance against Israel, so we will keep our weapons.
The weak central government of Lebanon couldn't and honestly still can't compete with the Iranian-backed Hezbollah. And so for decades, they've been forced to just sort of accept a second, more powerful military that they have no control over, and which in certain Shia-dominated areas actually remains the de facto government.
I think what the West fails to understand about Hezbollah is the extent to which it is an independent state within a state.
Although it took 18 years, Israel eventually retreated from southern Lebanon in 2000, and Hezbollah claimed victory. And when Hezbollah fought off another attempted invasion in 2006, it established itself as one of the only groups in the Middle East that could take on Israel and actually win.
The Secretary General of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, was seen as the leader of liberation of South Lebanon. The Palestinian reality is a great witness to what happens to you if you're overpowered by Israel.
But as the years went on,
the general population looked at it with eyes of doubt. Nasrallah himself, he adhered to the Wilayat al-Faqih doctrine, which means supreme leader in Iran is his leader. That's, I think, where the Lebanese feel that they're being used and exploited by an external power.
Hezbollah ومعاشاته ومصاريفه وأكله وشربه وسلاحه وصواريخه من الجمهورية الإسلامية في إيران.
Hezbollah is the biggest, most powerful branch of Iran's axis of resistance, a series of proxy groups throughout the region that Iran uses to defend itself and its interests.
It's very much dependent on Iran remaining a funder. Hezbollah does things which are not in the interests of the Lebanese state.
Things like getting Lebanon involved in the Syrian civil war to protect the Shia-aligned leader Bashar al-Assad.
For the first time for them, Hezbollah went to a war and came back losing a lot of money and fighters, but without a victory.
During the 2019 financial crisis, Hezbollah beat up those protesting political corruption, and it was also accused of blocking the investigation into the Beirut port explosion. Although the Lebanese government was never really in a position to do so, calls to disarm Hezbollah intensified, and it lost its parliamentary majority in the 2022 election. One day after Hamas's October 7th attacks in 2023, Hezbollah fired rockets into Israeli-occupied farms in a disputed region near the border, both as a protest against Israel's bombardment of Gaza and to show support for Hamas, a fellow axis of resistance group. This began a year-long conflict that would see Israel invade and kill about 4,000 Lebanese people.
And Nasrallah's decision to join a war that wasn't his was a very unpopular decision.
This caused a lot of destruction. A lot of people lost their homes.
You remember the exploding pages, the walkie-talkies, actually took out a lot of the senior leadership.
Nasrallah, he wasn't really aware of the real gap in power between him and his adversary, and I think he paid the ultimate price for it.
Hassan Nasrallah was killed in a barrage of Israeli airstrikes on Beirut. Iran warns Israel will regret its actions, saying his death will not go unavenged.
Hezbollah needed a bit more guidance and a bit more control from Iran.
The thin line between Hezbollah and the IRGC broke.
Lost touch with its leadership inside Lebanon. And I think this is quite visible.
After Israel and the US assassinated Iran's supreme leader in February 2026, Hezbollah again fired a series of rockets over the border. Israel's response was magnitudes larger. Bombing Beirut, wiping villages off the map and forcing more than 1 million people from their homes in order to occupy more than 10% of the country and create a buffer zone between Israel's northern border and Hezbollah.
מאות אלפי תושבי דרום לבנון שהתפנו צפונה לא יחזרו דרומית לנהר הליטני עד להבטחת הביטחון לתושבי הצפון.
Iran would probably be quite happy to see the Israelis go into Lebanon and to get bogged down there, because that would be a distraction from their war in Iran.
This decision to go to war, it was against the grain of what the Shia community wanted. The Speaker of Parliament and Hezbollah's main ally, who was very angry with the decision, I think made it clear, and voting with the government considering Hezbollah an illegal armed group.
قرار الحرب والسلم بيد الدولة اللبنانية وحدها دون سواها.
When we speak about Hezbollah, we also have to think of what Israel is saying. Beirut might look soon like Gaza. They are saying that. This community feels the existential danger of what Israel is about to do in South Lebanon. Many of them had lives in northern Palestine before the establishment of the State of Israel.
Traditionally, attacks from Israel have given Hezbollah the chance to reinforce its role as the protector. But will that still be possible with Iran also under siege?
For Hezbollah to go back to this role, they need money. They need a lot of money, and I don't think they have access to that kind of money anymore.
Hezbollah, like Iran, has a remarkable ability to regenerate itself.
If the war in Iran ends quickly, it would be within Iran's interest to continue funding their proxy groups. If not, the future of Hezbollah is less clear.
From the outside, you feel that what is wrong with them? Are they being suicidal? What are they doing? Why are they dragging Lebanon into this? They're not going to win this war. They know if the Iranian regime is gone, they're gone. This is an existential battle for everyone.